is in Steinberg.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, guys, let's start off. Folks, I don't know how special this podcast is going to be because we are going to air out some
Dirty laundry.
frustrating grievances. Listen, to those of you who have been on this journey with me and Steinberg, as some of you would often say when you write in, you've been here from day one. You know that it has been an ongoing quest for us in terms of a journey to grow this podcast, not just in terms of audience, but financially. And so along the way to this financial perfection, you make stumbles and falls and mistakes, and you learn as you go. So, Andy and I had a conversation that started kind of in Miami, where we were like, man, what the fuck can we do to grow this podcast and to grow these numbers and, both in terms of audience and money. And he said that, our guy, Anthony, you guys know about Steve a lot, who, of course, is one of the producers. And then there's our guy, Anthony, who I call our Jarvis, who's out of London, England, who does our YouTube stuff. And he has some analytics that he brought to Andy's attention that Andy then brought to my attention. Then we all had a 3-way conference call to discuss, based on these analytics, what we could do to strengthen the pod. And some of you may have noticed, particularly with the YouTube, and I read some of the comments on our last YouTube, that, there was edits. And it was edited in such a way based on the requirements via the analytics to try to fit those parameters. And some of the comments were, what's with the editing? It's hard to follow. One person even said something about what happened to the intro music. So Andy and I are going to try to explain to you why that was. It wasn't like there was some sort of glitch. It was purposely done that way for a reason.
And it was a test, but
it was a test.
And to say this, because Aries keeps saying analytics. The analytics obviously aren't based on making your just so that you understand this. The analytics aren't. We're not talking about them based on making our podcast grow. Our analytics are based on why a lot of people can't see our podcast, because YouTube and really all streaming platforms have a way of shrinking your audience. So because of what you may or may not say on your podcast, not merely because of what you may not say, because of what you say and the way that we speak freely.
Yes.
Use the word freely.
Okay. Aggressively.
That doesn't make companies like YouTube happy. So they make it that, first of all, they demonetize, so you can only make so much money on it. And that wouldn't even be a problem. But they also make the reach of the people who may not listen to you, how you pop up on their feed where they see you. And basically they remove you from growing your audience. They keep your audience smaller because a lot of people will come up to Aries and when I'll see big fans. Dude, Aries, man. Yeah, hey, have you seen our podcast? No, I didn't even know you had a podcast. Are you on YouTube? Yeah. Are you on? It's called, what is it? They shadow ban you in a way. They lower the amount of people that will get access to you that may not know that you're there. They could even be fans, but they're not looking you up that way. So that's when this has caused. That's why over years of doing this, we have struggled to build that audience to the size that we would like it to be for the amount of time that we put into this podcast. This isn't. We're on the road. It'd be nice to maybe sleep sometimes, maybe go get a nice lunch, do other things besides the podcast. But we enjoy doing the podcast, but we would like it to grow because we put effort into it every week, not just the 2 hours that you're going to see every week, but either the research we do behind it, trying to find time to put it into place. We have other things that we do in our life. So when we're taking 4 hours a week plus any extra time that we may do for watching or putting something in. I mean, we might have 5-10 hours. I mean, anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week, I say we put into the podcast.
Okay, well, I specifically want to go over a couple of things that you brought to my attention that I thought were insane. Like, for instance, one of the analytics that Andy said is, tell them about the music part where the drop off.
After when on YouTube, this is specifically to YouTube. So on YouTube, when people click on us and they actually may see something, Aries, and they go, hey, man, I want to check that out. That's Aries Spears, Mad TV. Click, man, I'll hit that. And then the music starts. And the music continues.
Which is 40 seconds, our opening theme song. It's like 40 seconds.
And we drop 50%, around 50% of the people who just click in to see what it is because they never get past the intro music. Because videos are no longer set up.
I'm sorry. Let me read let me say some of the comments. Because it sucks. So I'm going to save you cocksuckers the time. I wasn't even supposed to say that, and we'll explain that. My bad. Because that'll be one of the comments in the comment section. Because it sucks. But go ahead.
As the music plays, people drop off because they don't need intro music. And you're going to think, well, no one can wait 40 seconds.
Well, let me just say that then. That was one of my things. I was like, well, first of all, before I say that, what was the percentage of drop off? It went from 100 to...
It went down half.
So 50%.
Yeah, drop off.
So I'm sitting here going, so you honestly mean to tell me the attention span of people is that short that you can't get past 40 seconds?
Yeah.
And you were saying that Anthony suggested we chop it down to 15, better even 10.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and this is where I will say something that you might hear me repeat as we go through this. I'm such a dinosaur. And you even alluded to where we both are. Because I just come from an era where when you look at something, be it TV, movie, whatever it is in the way of entertainment, there's an intro. It's like watching the opening credits to a TV show.
I'll take it better than that. How many movies do you think have taken up space, intro music of TV shows that you have in your head from growing up? How much space, if we put it into like a computer, how many gigabytes do you have in your head of music that you grew up with?
All of it.
But kids today, I mean, and not even kids.
I know some of the shit by heart. I know some of them songs by heart.
But that's not what they want, because what they want now, because you have so much access streaming when you want it, you don't want that. You want to get right and to go right to some of the points that you make so that you do get it. I want to go straight to the meat. I want to go straight to it. I don't want to wait around. I don't want all the extra. I want the meat.
So you can't have 40 seconds of musical foreplay?
No, they don't want it. They want the meat.
Oh, God. So one of the things, again, that you guys may have noticed, for those of you who see it on YouTube, was I don't even think it was 10 seconds. So when Anthony uploaded the last episode, it literally was like 4 seconds and it went right in. And again, one of the comments was, yo, what happened to the intro music? But go ahead.
But the reason we did it without saying anything as well is because we wanted to see what the natural reaction would be through the public. What people who like you just said, are day ones. What did you think? How did you feel? Not asking you, not giving you this information. Just what in your heart, in your pen, what did you feel? And we got responses back. We got quite a lot.
And just so you know, Andy had a good idea, because when we were having this conversation, Andy knows me, and even though he was in Phoenix, he went on the East Coast, but nonetheless, we weren't in the same room. So it wasn't like he could see my face, but you could hear me. Because I hated the entire conversation, because so much of the shit that was being said, I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Well, just before you even go on with this, I know where you're going to go, but I just got to say this, just so people understand this, where you're going right now to have this conversation. If you think about how you watch Netflix or other they have a thing where it says skip intro, and you get it's like 2 seconds of the intro, and then you're into the show. That's what people are used to. Please go forward.
And if I'm being honest, I've done that myself. But listen, and okay, Andy had a good idea where he said we should do an episode, which is what we're attempting to do right now, where it's called YouTube friendly, right? You said,
YouTube.
I want to throw in the word family. YouTube family friendly, because one of the points that Anthony was trying to drive home was, look, we're too vulgar. And let's be honest, this is me. What was the word? I liked when I watched the 30 for 30 about the Chicago Bears, and I forget which player it was because, again, I'm not a football guy. But when describing Mike Ditka, he described Mike's ability to talk and use foul language, as colorful. He was colorful with his language. So I'm very colorful with my language. So basically, Anthony was saying too many curses, anything racial, Asian voice, anything that people may find offensive. All of that has to go. No, and what was funny, Andy said something funny. He goes, they allow you to say once. Anything past that, they put a strike against you. And Andy was like, oh, so the first time it's not offensive. But after that, it's offensive. And he goes, well, you can say it more than once. This is Anthony. If it's in a music form. So apparently, if I say the N-word, I have to sing it. And I'm sitting here going, and the curses. And I'm sitting here going, this is such horse doo-doo. Now, normally I would have said SH, you know the rest. But this is an attempt. We're attempting. But this is such horse doo-doo because who are they protecting? Well, kids. Anybody that's ever been a child, which is to say everyone on this effing planet, we curse the moment we get away from our parents. We curse more than kids curse more than parents, more than adults. What is this bull that we are who are we protecting? Give me a break. So it's like, and I can already tell our first day ones and all the other people, man, be who you are. Don't change who you are. Be who you are. F that. Stay you. Be true. And Andy, we've discussed this before. If we go away, or if I go away, because Andy's not really like that. That's why we the yin and the yang. If I go away from that, I don't want to dilute the Coke. I don't want to put baking soda in our Coke. I don't want to have it stepped on. I like giving y'all 100% pure uncut yayo. And just so you know, I don't ever do any of this for effect. I don't ever do any of this to put on a show. Dude, and Andy will tell you, podcast or no podcast, this is who I am. I am this dude off and on the podcast, in front of and not in front of the screen. This is who I am. I have a colorful vocabulary. So I just, and to sit here and want to say certain things in terms of jokes and characters and have to think, pause, can I, self-edit, it won't feel right to me. That means I can't do Brett Butler. I can't do Bobby Patterson. I can't do certain things that I do that involve who those people are. So I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And this is where I would say to you guys, please, for the love of God, write in. We're going to do the YouTube-friendly podcast today, and I want you guys to write in and tell us honestly what you think. Because my thing is this, and it's interesting. We just saw the movie Air, which you'll hear next week. And something, oh God, what was the point? I wish I would have wrote it down, but in my notes. But something to the extent of, do what is important to you with passion and love, and you will make money automatically. Like, don't ever make it be about the money. Do it for the right reasons, and you'll make money automatically. And here's the dilemma. Yes, we're making money now. But as Anthony said to us, he goes, right now you guys are averaging hundreds of dollars per month. If you do it the way YouTube is telling you to do it, you could be averaging thousands. Again, maybe this is where I'm naive and stupid. I want to believe this is why I love that movie Air and so many of the quotes and so many of the moments and Matt Damon's character. I'm just that dude that wants to believe, man, that if I push all my chips at the center of the table for the right reasons, for the passion and for the love, at the end of the day, maybe not immediate. Maybe I'll stumble and fall along the way. Maybe we make some mistakes. Maybe we lose. But I failed over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. I'm waiting for that one moment to push all them chips to the table and boom. And I believe that. I just, again, maybe I'm just stupid, naive, but I believe it. I just believe it. And my thing is this. Do we want to make more money? Of course. You know, as much as I don't care how much you love something, you got to feed your family. You got to feed your kids. You got to pay the bills. So money is a necessity. But I don't want to be driven by it. I don't want the reason why we do this to be about how much money can we get? I would love to be raking in the dollars. But at what cost? That I have to, you know, decapitate my creative integrity? That I gotta not be who I want to be and do what feels natural to me and instinctively what I know to be funny or what I believe works? I'm not driven by money like that. I want money, but I don't want my driving force to be money. You get me?
Yeah, but it's funny to me because it's also bullshit.
What part is bullshit?
The whole thing that you just said.
Why is it bullshit?
Because you're not being honest to yourself.
How do you figure that? When I just told a lie?
You lied to yourself.
How is that?
Because first of all, curse words aren't who you are. If I said Aries Spears is a curse word, is that who you are?
No, but you don't. But you know from seeing who I am, you know at the base
I know
of
how you are. No, that's not who you are.
But then maybe I said it wrong. But at the base of who I am, you know that I'm not Monique. Go, baby.
No, I know you're doing. I know you're speaking like how you speak, and when you're with.
And look, I'm cursing. I'm trying. Yeah. I'm not supposed to.
But there's a difference between. We all have different voices. With what you wouldn't go. Do you speak that way when you're on the news? When you're on the news to get people to come to your show?
No, but I also know how to be as effective as I can be without doing that because I can't. I can't.
But you know
I can.
But you know how to be as effective as
That's
you can be.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing.
But then here's where the line gets drawn. Then you say, it's not about the money.
Put it like this. I'm sorry. I like fried chicken. Yeah. Can I eat fried chicken without hot sauce? Yes. Do I love it with hot sauce? Absolutely. And if I have the ability to put hot sauce on it, I will always choose fried chicken with rather than without.
Great. But how do you get people to come to your shows on TV? No hot sauce. You say all the time, I want that Will Smith. When I shouldn't use Will Smith as an example, but this is the guy that you used it. I want that I want the yacht. I want the boat. I want to taste that. I want to be part of that. Well, that doesn't come with all the hot sauce all the time.
Do you believe that we could do a family-friendly, mainstream, under the guidelines and parameters podcast based on what YouTube's constant rules were and still be as effective? Now, don't lie to yourself.
No, I'm not. That's why I'm not answering it right away when I'm thinking about how to do it. I think it can be done. It would not be as natural.
All right. And that's my point.
Okay, I understand what your point is.
All right, I'm just saying.
And make your point, though. Don't say that you're not into it for this or that.
Like I said, I may have worded it wrong. Yeah. But that part, no. But that part, I do mean. But I'm not driven. This is not about, it's about every red cent. No. I'm not doing this for that.
I know it's not about the money. But in the reality, the money does play a part. And it's not the money, even just the money. It's also the reach. There's only so long that you want a popular podcast. You don't want a podcast that is just moving through this. And we moved through this very slowly. We also came into this at a time when podcasts exploded. So it was harder to get your podcast out there and up front and the numbers bigger. But there are tricks to doing this to bring in more people in. And when I say tricks, I don't mean on our voice and how we act, but tricks to bring to work the system that's set up to get more people to see you, to get more people to plug in, so more people are hearing you. That's what I mean by the tricks. But you can't do it necessarily straight out the way we did it. Anthony said some other things. You can't start off if it's in the first few minutes. And we do sometimes, even our title names. That's funny.
That's another one.
That they're funny.
That's another one that blew my mind. A title name is a turn off?
To YouTube it is. This is I'm going to give you a Jerry Seinfeld thing. Jerry Seinfeld, there's some titles on every one of the episodes, right? Just like any other series. He said they all had to start with the, because he didn't want everybody wasting a bunch of time trying to figure out a cute, clever name. So it's always, if you watch it, it's the accountant. I don't know what the names of them. The whatever is prevalent in that episode. It's the, because he doesn't want to waste a lot of time doing it. And because it's not the important part, it's the content that's important. I'm not disagreeing with you. I love a clever one. We spend a few minutes on it. We don't spend hours, but we spend a few minutes thinking about a clever podcast, clever name for each podcast. But is it necessary? And to what I'm going to say to you is there is a way to be the authentic you without having to dilute what you're doing in hot sauce. Sometimes it doesn't always need it. And you're still you.
Here's what was more interesting to me now that I think about it. Like, we average on the YouTube anywhere from 1,000 point whatever till about 2-something thousand views per episode. But when we did the episode with Godfrey, that is 1,000 view away from 100,000 views. It's at 99,000 views. When we did the second episode with Godfrey, that's at 65,000 views. When we did the episode with the Reverend, that was over 12,000 views. When we did the episode with the transgender dude, that was pretty high. When we did the one with Rizza Islam, immediately that was in over 100,000 before YouTube yanked it. So to kind of debunk some of this, there's some secret in that sauce that we're not capturing, or I want to better understand. Why would the Godfrey episode almost at 100,000, but without Godfrey, we're averaging what we're averaging, which is far from that.
Predator versus, what was it? Predator versus Alien.
I don't follow, but go ahead.
You put two big boys in the room, people are going to tune in. You brought his crowd and your crowd, Godfrey, together to do the podcast, so everybody came over to look.
You know, something else that was mentioned, and I don't know, you remind me, I don't know if this was an analytics thing or this was more your thing, but shorter podcasts, 45 minutes.
Analytics.
Which is something we, again, in this experiment, we're going to do. Right now, we're at 22 minutes and counting. We're going to end this at 45 minutes. Now, unless I'm wrong, most podcasts, the average amount of time is an hour, no?
No.
It's what?
There's different ideas and different strategies for each kind of podcast. So 30 minutes analytically is the time for a podcast to be set up, said, started, and done. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's podcasts work that way. Joe Rogan's is completely different. But Joe Rogan started it, set it up differently, and that's what Joe Rogan does. But Joe Rogan also does a lot of different interviews, brings other people on, brings people in from different genres, not just comedy podcasts, not just information. He brings them in from all different segments of the stratosphere of entertainment and knowledge, and he brings them in so that other people are tuning in for other reasons. His is different. But the average podcast, 30 minutes is where is the most efficient podcast, because people only have so much time. And because there are so many more podcasts, bringing new people in, they're not going to, it's also like how you talk about, you got to watch it from the beginning. You think people have time to do that.
But some people do.
But most don't. And
you don't say that.
The analytics prove it.
I don't agree with it. The analytics says most don't.
The analytics are showing most people how much time they spend, and it's less than 20 minutes for a podcast. They want to be in, they want to be out, and they want to move on to their next one, or they're fast forwarding. Look at your podcast now. You can fast forward through your podcast, skip through anything boring.
To me, I would say any form of entertainment, I don't care what it is like sex. Great sex should never have a time limit. If great sex can be good at 5 minutes, or it could be good at 5 hours. Shout out to the African. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn. African news.
You gotta sing it.
I gotta sing it. I'm just saying, like, dude, and you said we've been averaging, what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing that I didn't like about the 45-minute mark. And now that you're telling me 30 minutes, this is what I like even less. When we're on a roll and we're in a rhythm, and rhythm is so important to everything because it sets the table. When we're in a rhythm like we were with Godfrey, or sometimes how you and I get in a rhythm comedically, or even if it's just stimulating heavy conversation, to sit there and go, 45 minutes, gotta stop. I absolutely hate that. And you were like, as an experiment, what we should do is, move the email episodes to Patreon so that the hardcore listeners, if they want to hear their emails read, they pay for that. And then maybe from now on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we just do, we record as long as we want to record, but then split it up. So if we did an hour and a half, we split it into two. On Wednesday, you get the first half at 45. On Thursday, you get the second half at 45. Emails, you have to go to Patreon for.
And you could also find Burt Bridgewater and all the other things.
And all the other things. Right. Because
you can't do on YouTube because we can't do it.
I hate that you can't. Whatever. But anyway, my thing is, for instance, now we saw the movie Air. And we both went, dude, this is about MJ. We could talk about this in our sleep. We could talk about this for 2 days. Well, I feel like that's always been the case. But when I saw this movie Air, I didn't really have as many notes as I thought I would. But even with that being said, I know how you are. You know how I am. My affinity for MJ. Based on certain things you say, I could build from there. But I'm just going, all right, so what if you and I are talking about doing this experimental thing and we do it, and this is the first episode, here we are, 45 minutes, we stop, and then we discuss. We will do an email episode for Thursday, but then next week we'll split the Air thing up in half. So Wednesday and Thursday you get the first part of Air, Thursday you get the second part of Air next week, and then move the emails to Patreon, which, again, for the record, I hate this. I hate that idea, because my thing is, what if we're talking about Air and for whatever reason, the conversation ends before the 45-minute mark? I don't think that's likely, and even if it's not Air, whatever we're talking about, what if we just, within 45 minutes, we're done with the topic? Now we're going, we got to fill in this time. Or what if we have no problem filling in the 45 minutes, but then we're supposed to give them a second half, but then on the second half, we don't have enough to fill the 45 minutes? And I'm just sitting here like, to break up the formula for the sake of YouTube parameters, I hate it. I hate it.
How long is a television show?
It could be an hour or a half hour.
But how long? But then how many recording minutes is it? 23. How do we get to these numbers? How do we get to the numbers are developed by a technique that,
because ads, you have to figure in ads. Yeah.
And so it's developed by a technique. So you're telling me that in that 23 minutes of any show that you've seen on TV, you can't put something better in those 7 minutes that are cut out for ads? You could, right? But the formula, you keep going, the formula. The formula is in the analytics. It's the proven formula. And that's the analytic. And it doesn't work for everyone, but it's what works for the bulk of it. What we're doing right now, and this is why I love doing podcasting. This is really the reason I love doing podcasting, working on this whole platform of the web and doing all this through social. Dude, this is the wild, wild west, man. There's no rules. These are gunslingers. They're all out here.
Apparently there are rules.
But there's people controlling those rules, because the same people that came into entertainment, that left television, that left network and came in to do this, and they're the ones that are setting up the rules again. And so now we find ourselves in this again. So now we are scrambling to try to figure out how to best put that together. And it's just the way it's just the way that this is moving into another system that is going to be it's always, and it has been, all entertainment gets controlled by advertising and how you market it and how you put it in. And this is where we are. And this is what it is. And think about it, though. When you go to the movies, the number one movies at the theaters are PGs 13 sometimes. No one wants an R rating because that's what fucks it up. But then you do have, what's now I'm going to forget his name. what was the one who all the X-Men always want him to join? It's one of the best Marvel ones right now.
Wolverine?
No, but he talks about Wolverine all the time. Deadpool. That's an R-rated. They said that wasn't going to work. This isn't. And then it comes in and breaks the rules and it doesn't.
That's my lane. That's what gets my beak wet. I don't want to be PG-13. I don't want to be PG. I don't want to be Disney. I like R.
I got you. And that's why I brought it up. I'm not saying anything that we're talking about is right. I'm just saying this is what they want. This is how it works on YouTube. They control it. And every once in a while, someone gets to break out. I don't know. You know what I would say to you? If that's really what you want, then you and Godfrey need to figure out how to hook up and do a podcast every week. Because like you said, what's missing in the ingredients? That's the one. That one, I honestly, from a fan standpoint, could see you and Godfrey doing a podcast every
week. I could see me and a lot of people doing a podcast, but that's not the hand I'm dealt. I'm working with the cards I got.
You and Godfrey could work it out.
No, we can't because Godfrey is on the East Coast. I'm on the no. Listen, dude.
That's why creators have this form that you can do this.
I'm telling you, God. I'm telling you how personally Godfrey is. Godfrey's hard to lock down, man. He's all over the place. He's a very hard dude to lock down. He's one of them dudes, and I love Godfrey. When again in your face, yeah, man, yeah. Out of sight, out of mind.
I'm sure that he would put something together where once a week you do a Zoom and you do a podcast.
Dude, and that's another thing. And I don't know if these analytics exist, but I imagine they either do or they should. Excuse me. It's more effective when we're in the room together. That I've done Godfrey's podcast via Zoom from my house and his place. It's cool. But there's a chemistry and a magic that happens
I'm not denying
when
that.
you share the same space with somebody.
I'm not denying that.
I'm not a fan of the Zoom thing. It feels disconnected.
It especially when you two are in the same room. I mean, the energy is completely different than it's going to be if it's on, than it's on Zoom.
Dude, listen, I could see me and Andrew Schultz doing a podcast and it'd be crazy. Me and Michael Rappaport, because they like me, have that energy. But that doesn't have to be the only thing that could work. You know, people have said in abundance, yo, you and Andy's chemistry, man, y'all are great. Y'all are blah, 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 blah. And I get that. I understand that. I see that. So whatever it is, something still needs to be figured out.
I do have a feeling.
I certainly don't think that's the answer, though.
No, but I just have a feeling that when you trying to fit into the parameters of YouTube, which we don't have to. We could go do it exactly the way we do it. We could release our podcast out throughout
shit, it's the wifey.
Spotify. You want to take a pause?
Yeah. Again, I don't like the whole process.
Well, I'm going to say something because I've thought about this a little bit. And might get a little racial here for a second, but here's what I want to say. I know what you say when you said, I like it better with the hot sauce. And I'm trying to say, is that who you are? Is that not who you are? And we could do this all day. But here's something that I get sick of hearing, though.
From me?
No.
Oh.
It's from black folks in general.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. When we talk about how you have to go through life with two different hats, the black hat and then the one with the rest of the public. And I understand it. I really do. I get it. I don't live it, but I understand it. I understand what you're saying. I can see it happening as a white dude watching how other white people say things, think things, do things. I get what that meaning. But when we're talking about this business and this platform and being able to speak and be who you are, be your authentic self. Like the people that love you say that because they don't want to see you wear a different hat. Be Aries. Everybody wears different hats. White dudes have worn different hats their whole existence. That's how you don't hear people in the boardrooms in their suits saying shit that they say at home. The only reason people, this is the truth is, Trump is probably the one, when this is what's funny about it. Trump is the guy who is himself and represents himself, and everybody hates him for it. But that's the dude. If you're going to be who you are, that's the dude who really is who he is. Most people hide that. When he said those shithole countries, people were like, "Oh, he's a
you
racist."
Can't say shit. You can't say.
You're right.
Say doodle hole.
Doodle hole, or I could sing it.
Either or. You see how stupid this is?
Yeah. But when he said that, you don't think other presidents have referred or said it or had said things similar to that?
Yeah, but he's an a-hole.
Okay,
I'm
not giving him a pass.
I know, but I don't know if that's the best example.
No. But I'm making this point is everybody has always wore different hats. You telling me that Kevin Hart on television and on his commercials and on his everything that he is on that you see in the media all day, that's who Kevin Hart is?
To a large degree, yes.
You don't think there's other Kevin Hart that just
Of course, but at the core of who he is, that's Kevin Hart.
Okay, and then
he's Capri Sun comedy.
And then the same guys that tell you
Hennessy comedy.
And then the same guys that tell you, Aries, be you, don't do that, don't bend, they're saying to Kevin Hart on the other text, get your bag, make that money, get that. You can't be you can be it, but you can't just wear one hat. You can't wear one suit. No one has one pair of underwear, one pair of socks, one pair of shoes, one pair of pants, and one shirt goes out every day in that same look. No one does that.
You can't say F.
Yeah, I know.
Which hat are you wearing now?
I'm wearing the hat.
Well, don't wear the effed up hat because we be trying to show.
He can beat me. He can beat me on this.
No. He ain't got to be because we heard from the analytics. He said even the beeps don't work.
I'm just saying.
But wait a minute.
I agree with you.
Okay,
I agree with you at the same time.
But while you're trying to make your point to me, take a deep breath.
Because it's who we are.
Wait a minute. While you're trying to make your point to me, take a deep breath and realize how hard this is and how you're being a hypocrite.
No, I'm not. I'm making a point.
Okay, but you're making a point. But in you being yourself within the point, you're cursing.
So you don't want me to be myself?
No, that's not what I'm saying. You're proving my point, Andy.
I am proving your point.
Be yourself. So you being yourself, you're cursing.
But I'm also saying that I have to do the same thing to be able to
Which you didn't.
No, because I'm proving my point.
No, you're not proving your point. What you just did came to you naturally.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're trying to make a point to me about wearing two hats when meanwhile, what you're doing naturally is coming through.
But I also said at the beginning of this, white dudes have had to do that their whole life too. We act as though it's only one-sided. White dudes just figured out a way to make it look like it was part of the family and part of the culture and part of the routine. They've never been those people.
I can tell you right now, I know what you're going for with that analogy, but right now I don't feel that I am educated enough to combat the horse crap that you're trying to use with that. Because a white dude wearing two hats and a black dude wearing two hats is totally different. And I don't want to make this about a race conversation.
It is different. I was using it more as an analogy that everybody wears separate hats.
And that's not a good analogy.
It is a good analogy, but it's the difference of what black folks have to wear hard hats. That's the difference. Not every white dude has to wear a hard hat. So that I'll give you. I said it wasn't. I understood it, and it wasn't exact, but that is where we're at. This is, do you want to make the money? Do you want to have the success? Do you want more opportunities? Because the other thing that we're doing is showing that we don't get opportunities because of who we are.
I have to figure out how to be Deadpool.
That's the other alternative.
That's just it. And I have not figured that out. I have to figure out how to be Deadpool because to sit here and go and go back to what I said, yes, of course I want the money. You know, the money is a necessity to feed the family, feed the kids, pay the bills. But I don't want that to be the driving force. I don't want that to be the sole reason. Like in the movie that we're going to talk about next week, Air, do it for the right reasons and you'll make money automatically. I believe in that.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, if I'm naive, if I'm stupid, well, then you know what? I'm taking that to the grave. I believe in that.
But what if someone's looking at this and going, Aries, the right reason would be because you don't have to speak foul to say the right things. But you can be funny without speaking foul.
No, but I'm not. It would be different if I'm making it a point to go, now this is me being foul for effect. I'm not doing it for effect. It's not a fallacy. It's not false. It's who I am. It's in the rhythm of how I talk. It's in the rhythm of how I think. Comedically, during conversation, it's part of who I am. That's part of my moves.
Then we live with
This is natural.
But then
we live with the results.
That's right. Listen,
I loved it because you were trying to make a point to me to make me see it how you thought I should see it. But while you're making your point, you are also making mine because you are naturally being who you are.
Right. I agreeing with that. But I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is we can do this either way. We can do it either way. We have to live with the result.
Please, folks, this is the part where I will reiterate. Please write in. I am putting the bat signal in the air harder than I've ever put it in the air. I need all of y'all day ones, non-day ones. Meet me on the roof like Commissioner Gordon. I want to know y'all's opinion.
The other thing is we could do this. We can do it we could do the podcast that we always done. It will grow slow because it's not going to get out to as many people. It will continue to grow though because people do, when they find it, they like it. But then it has to go behind a paywall because there's no way to put this out there.
Say again with the paywall. What does that mean?
Paywall is like Patreon.
Listen, here's what I will say to you guys. And I don't really check our Patreon often.
It's been a shit show, our Patreon.
You gotta say doo-doo show.
Doo-doo show.
You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about.
This is how I talk too.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. If you want to talk about putting on a front, that's putting on a front.
What, say doo-doo show?
Yeah, to be in this way that we're not naturally.
No, it would take a lot of work, and it wouldn't feel natural. Do you think we could have an argument, even that little argument, that little thing we just did? Do you think we could do it with just buttery sounds and flowers and roses?
No, and I think that if we attempted to do it and did it successfully, it would be horrible.
So
it would be horrible.
I don't know. What I'm trying to tell you, when I sat down to do this, I knew I didn't know the answer to this, and it would reveal itself as we tried to do this.
People love authenticity. The problem is, oftentimes with authenticity comes, backlash or resentment, or resistance.
Well, resistance for sure. But it goes to this that, do you think Brian Regan, who we both love as a comedian,
yeah,
do you think he doesn't use foul language in his real life? He does.
I don't know.
No, he does. He talked about it.
Okay.
He does, but he just made that choice.
But that works for him
because
so
that's what he built.
On stage.
Because that's what he built, and that's what he built. But what I'm saying to you is, do you want to make that choice? I don't know that we could. I don't know that we could. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to figure it out, just like you are. But I don't think we can. I don't think we could do it that way. I think we could do it where we put out some product on YouTube that just went out. We did whatever it is, but then we have to have our own thing that is for the people that actually like what we do. Because I can't. I honestly, I think, as what I said, people wear different hats. We all wear different hats. But this isn't our hat. This isn't what we do.
And for the record, we got about a minute and a half left before we have to stop because of the guidelines of YouTube or the analytics. But shorter is better.
And I could do the shorter. I can figure out the TV time script so the commercials fit in. I can do that. But if I have to change everything about the way that I speak and why I started doing this, I don't know if I can. Because I go back to what I said. It was the Wild Wild West when we started. And it is becoming like a locker room for appropriate ladies.
You will hear me say when we watch this movie air, again, I'm a sucker for, maybe that naive belief system, but Matt Damon is almost like the underdog in this, who's his character is, champion for trying to get Michael signed to Nike. And I mean, he gets to the cusp of where to the very edge of the cliff where it looks like he just won't get it done. And of course we know he got it done because boom, we know. But I'm telling you, man, and I don't have any shame in saying it, man. I there were a couple moments where, I teared up because I'm rooting. I am that underdog. So any underdog, I'm for it. Because I like to know that it can be done. Hella high water, and the odds are against you, But I love knowing it can be done. We're at 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Give out dates?
Can you give me that blue book right there?
Yeah. Let me do it quick so I don't eat up any more time.
They can turn off right here because we're already done. Like you say sometimes the show's been over 20 minutes ago. Where are we? We're at Columbus when we're recording this. And then Aries and I are taking a couple weeks off so we can recuperate.
Is it 1 or 2?
2 weeks.
Are you sure?
Yeah, April 7th. Oh, wait, let me see. No, maybe it is only 1 week.
Yeah, it's only 1 week.
Okay, April
Right?
16th next week. And then April 23rd the following week. And then we're back.
Really?
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks off?
2 weeks off. We're going to be in Arlington. Arlington Improv. The 27th through the 30th of April. Followed by the following week, obviously, Cleveland Improv. That's the 5th through the 7th of May. Followed by Helium, Portland, the 25th through the 28th of May. What did I say? The 25th through the 28th of May. That is correct. Followed by Cobb's Comedy. That is the 1st through the 3rd of June. And then we're going to be at the Pittsburgh Improv the 9th through the 11th of June. And I'm going to go back to the Andy Warhol Museum. I'm wearing my hat from my good friends over at Whataburger. They didn't pay for this, but I wanted one of their hats because I think they look funny. And they gave it to me, my friends over on the Thomas one, just right around Scottsdale Road, Thomas and Scottsdale in Phoenix, Arizona.
All right.
I told them I'd give them a little shout out for my hat.
Right.
So I wear this so I look like I work at Whataburger at the airport.
Okay, so next Wednesday, you guys will be hearing our take on the movie Air, which I'm excited about because, you know, Michael Jordan, I love that. I sang it.
Should we change it to Spears and Steinberg, PG? There we go. We're out, man.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.